Okay, you guys, if you feel like you are lost as a content creator, as somebody who posts on social media, well, today you have come to the right place because today I'm going to be talking about 10 habits, mindsets, things that I do every single week that as a content creator, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who does all of this full time and has for years, things that have quite literally changed my life, grown my income, my following, my podcast, my business. Today we're going to talk about content planning, mindset, weekly planning, content creation, social media, like everything. And I'm so excited for today's episode. If you're new, by the way, welcome to Busy Blooming. This is your new office, your new digital office for social media and content creation. You have come to a safe space over here. We are all entrepreneurs, content creators, podcasters, influencers, and you have just found your new group of coworkers. So if you're new, comment below, introduce yourself. So welcome to our office. We are so excited that you're here. Make sure to subscribe, grab a desk at your new digital office. And we have a lot of work to do together today. We're getting our lives together today. I'm so excited for this episode, and let's clock in and go to work together today. Okay, so the best way to get your life together, feel organized as a content creator or social media manager or freelancer is today's sponsor, because today's episode is brought to you by Rella. You guys, Rella is the best, most genius tool I have ever come across in over 10 years working in social media. Rella is not just a tool where you can schedule your content, but also Rella is a project management tool for yourself as well. So whether you're a content creator, an influencer, you want to manage all your social media profiles, or you're a freelancer and you have clients, this is the tool you need to manage everything. But the coolest part of Rella is not their amazing tools, their project management, their scheduler. It is Ella. And you know, I'm so deeply obsessed with using AI for content creation, social media. Ella, Rella's AI assistant, it is something I have personally never seen before. It is genius. It is here to be your content strategist, your data analyst, and your strategic partner all in one. It also creates tasks for you. Let's just get into it. It's the coolest thing ever. One of the coolest ways to use Ella is for analysis and strategy. You can actually build strategic content calendars based on your past performance, goals, and audience insights. Ella will look at your content, see what's doing best, and it will build out a content calendar. Because when you use Rella, it syncs all your socials so it can see all your posts. And Ella will tell you, you know what? These posts are doing the best. So I'm going to build you a new content calendar based on this. And it literally puts it in your calendar for you. I think my favorite feature about Ella is the insights and recommendations. This is like so cool. It will actually analyze your connected accounts and your content and highlight what's working, what's not, and suggest to you what you should try next based on that. It can repurpose content, turning top performing posts into new formats. So you just absolutely have no choice at this point to go check out Rella. Go check them out. They are so amazing. Ella, I think, will solve all of our problems as content creators and social media freelancers. Rella is the best way to get your life together and feel organized as a content creator. So definitely go check it out. I will link it down below. Also, make sure to use the code BusyBlooming. And thank you so much to Rella for sponsoring today's video. And let's get into the rest of the video. Okay, first things first. We absolutely firstly need to discuss that you need to get in the habit, in the mindset that when you are feeling like you are always in a rut, you're always rebranding, pivoting, you don't have ideas, you just like don't feel like you have it together and you feel like everybody else does, I need you to get in the mindset that you are not the exception to the rule. That is the rule of content creation and entrepreneurship. Doing all of this on social media, building a business, a brand, a following, all of it, it is so messy, it is so deep, it is so difficult, and nobody knows what they're doing and nobody has it together. It is quite literally impossible to know what you're doing and have social media figured out, because you will never figure it out, because social media is always changing. The second you think you have it figured out, there's a new algorithm, there's a new app, and we are at the center of our brands and our businesses as creators and entrepreneurs, especially for more of like an influencer or content creator. Like, you are the center of your business, and you as a human being are always evolving and changing and growing. So of course your brand never feels super structured in a good routine, because it is always evolving and changing. And I say this all the time. I really believe that content creation is so deep. You need to get in the minds and the habit that you are not the exception to the rule. You are not doing anything wrong. If you feel like a mess, everyone else is posting consistently, everyone else has it figured out, everyone else has these perfect templates and systems and routines. No, they don't. They actually don't. Speaking from experience, I am not just a content creator. I am supposed to tell you and other people, I'm supposed to tell you what to do on social media. I don't have it all figured out. I don't have the perfect routine. Last week is week 2 of a short form summer rebrand challenge we're doing over here. Did I post every single day? No. I missed a couple days, and that is totally okay because of what we're going to talk about next. But even if you are still thinking after listening to the beginning of this, like, okay, no, but trust me, like, I am more of a mess than other people, you're actually not. I have met everybody. I feel like I've met so many content strategists that I know you follow, creators that I know you follow. No one has it all figured out, but we all look like we do, or people are trying to come across like they do. People post content that flops. People don't know what they're doing. It's messy, it's complicated, it's overwhelming. And you know what the thing is? You don't see content that flops because it flopped. It's not coming across your page. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. If you feel like you don't have it together and you don't know what you're doing, why would you know what you're doing? You've never done this before. The thing that's weird about social media and entrepreneurship is you're in a new job every single week. You're in a new role every single week. You're constantly getting promoted in your own business. And no one has everything perfectly together. And that's the beauty of all this. Okay, this brings me to my second point, which is you need to get in the mindset of being in CEO mode and owning and backing yourself on what you do with your business on social media. So many people will give you tips and advice and routines and schedules, myself included, obviously, giving you a ton of this stuff. But you, at the end of the day, need to own what works for you and your business, your Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, podcast, business. And you need to stop looking around for what other people are doing. Like, even if I give you a content schedule, ideas, tips, you need to take all of that with a grain of salt. And I know we've all been talking recently that people are feeling like, oh, I skipped a couple days last week, or I haven't posted that much, or I've not posted as much as I wanted to, or I feel really lost, or maybe I need to rebrand or pivot. You don't have a boss in social media. As much as I feel like I'm your boss, you are at the end of the day the CEO and the founder and the owner of your social media business. So if you set out to post 5 days a week and you think, you know what, right now we need to post 3 days a week, that's what we're going to do, or I'm going to switch up my content templates, I'm going to switch up my style, that's what you need to do. And you need to completely own it and figure out what works well for you. You can never be behind on social media because you're the one who sets the schedule, who sets the tone. And I think the reason this happens so much is because of my third point, is that you need to stop designing your social media, your business routines, all of this in a rigid structure, because you are setting yourself up for failure. This is one of the biggest lessons I've learned. Social media and content creation is so fluid and moves all the time. And the biggest way I set myself up for failure, and I know you probably do too, is by setting rigid rules and schedules in a world that is not like that at all. This often comes from a scarcity mindset of, we feel like, okay, if I don't post every single Monday at 7 p.m. or if I don't post 5 days a week, I will not grow. That's not true. That's just not how the algorithms work anymore on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok. They used to. It just doesn't work that way anymore. Content across every platform that people save, people watch a long time and share, that is the content that just does well. It doesn't matter when you posted it. In the grand scheme of things, I mean, there's certain things you can do. But instead of trying to create a really strict, rigid routine and a really rigid schedule, try to create a flowing structure for yourself. So for example, this is like telling yourself, I post my videos on Mondays on YouTube at 7 p.m. every single week. I never miss a week. I post Monday to Friday, these specific types of content. I never miss a day. I never miss a week. I time block my schedule on Sundays. I can't change anything. I have to film this exact content in this style with this hook, with this script. Like, you're setting up a lot of like rigidity. That is a fluid framework that you control and work with. You move that framework around. You don't like follow that like that's your boss and you have to do those things, because again, you're the CEO, you're the boss. So what this looks like in a day-to-day thing is, say for example, you're like, okay, I'm gonna do my Monday to Fridays. That's my fluid framework, but I might move around this week depending on how I'm feeling. Because you believe that there's an abundance of time, there's an abundance of people that haven't found you yet, you're not in a rush, you're not behind, you're not urgent, and you allow yourself to get in the driver's seat where you move this fluid framework instead of following under the rules of this rigid routine where you always feel behind. Because if you're in this mindset, you never feel like you're failing at anything because there's nothing to fail at. You don't set out to follow all these really strict rules. Like, for example, let's say you want to post Monday to Friday every single day on Instagram, but maybe you're sick or maybe you're going through something, maybe your mental health isn't great. That's okay. You're like, okay, I got my framework. Maybe I'll just move a couple things around. Maybe I'll post on the weekend, or maybe I'll pull back, or maybe I'll do a carousel instead so I don't have to film. Also, on the other hand, maybe you're feeling really creative. Maybe you want to do like a series this week, or maybe you want to try something new or try a new style, or you just saw a trend you want to do, or you want to try posting on YouTube. You move your framework around. You're like, okay, I'm actually going to do 2 YouTube videos this week, or maybe I'll post 2 times today. It's a fluid framework that you move, not like you fit into it. I don't even know if this is making sense, but this is the way that I view content creation personally. Even with short form summer rebrand, I should have said this in the original video. I feel like I always have this context in my mind of I'm like, okay, I'm going to post Monday to Friday every single day. I know that this is the way I'm viewing it, of like, well, if I'm, sick or I want to post 2 days one week, I'm going to do that. But I feel like a lot of people don't have this mindset. It is life changing to view content and social this way. Stop treating yourself like you're an employee. You are the CEO. You can change and move things and adjust as you need. You can test and try and pivot. You're in control. So stop setting yourself up for failure by setting this rigid structure all the time for yourself. I mean, obviously, if you have like contracts and brand deals and things do change a little bit. Sometimes you just gotta like do it. Another way that I really do this and design my life and my business around like fluidity, rhythm rather than rigidity is I don't set any micro goals. I set goals at the beginning of the year that are very like big, kind of like borderline delusional goals of things I want to do, what I want to be known for, what I want people to say about me at the end of the year. But I do not set like weekly goals, monthly goals, quarterly goals, because again, what you're doing is adding this rigid structure and you're letting yourself be less fluid and free in your own creative business. I just have like big North Stars that I check in on all the time, but those goals also might change, and that's okay. Changing and evolving in this industry, sometimes we view it as a failure of like, I have to rebrand, I have to pivot, I want to try something new. That is not a failure. That's a win. So stop setting up systems for yourself where you feel like evolving and pivoting is a bad thing. It's such a good thing. So set fluid frameworks that you control, not rigid structures and routines, if that makes sense. Okay, speaking of all this, the next mindset, the next habit is aim for 80% and messy consistency. This has got to be the hardest thing I have ever done, besides the last point of like reprogramming my mind around all of that. But one of the best things that have really especially grown my content on this podcast, this YouTube channel, is aiming for 80%. Every piece of content I post on Instagram or this podcast, I wish I could redo it. Like every time. I know when I'm going to edit this episode, I rewatch it, I'm going to be like, I should have said that, or this would have been such a good point. Or I just posted a carousel on Instagram that I hated. I'm like, this carousel could be so much better if I had a couple more hours to spend on it, or if I posted it tomorrow. But it's 80% good. This episode is 80% fine, because your 80% is amazing. And normalize posting content that you don't think is perfect and you don't love. That, I heard this quote, I cannot find it. The difference between people who want to do something and the people who are successful at it is they post their 80%. They never try for 100 because they don't have time. The key to being consistent is embracing messy, strategic consistency over random consistency. If you have a clear brand and you know what you're doing and where you want to go, the topics you want to post about, post content that is 80% good but is structured and strategic under that brand. Don't post random things to be consistent, but embrace the messiness of consistency. Consistency and being consistent on social media, of course, is a consistent brand energy. People always feel the same way when they watch your stuff. It's messy. It means posting things that you don't like, but they're strategic, they're aligned, they're not perfect, and stop aiming for perfect. Just aim for the 80% good. Because this brings me to my next habit, my next point, which is stop wasting your time on stupid things that don't move the needle. I used to waste so much time on things that personally I believe do not matter. For example, this might hit home for some people. So if you want to do this, then do it. But like sitting down and writing out and looking at your monthly engagement rate, your monthly analytics, your monthly views, click-through rate, numbers, look really like detailed all the time, looking at your analytics, or trying to figure out an Instagram story strategy when you have a 9-to-5 job and you're so busy, or spending hours on your YouTube channel banner. Like things like that do not actually have a high return on investment of your time. Of course, glancing at your analytics and figuring out a couple of things that are working well is important, but you'll know like what's working well and what's not. If you were really busy, like you have a 9-to-5 job, you should only really be spending your time on things like in-feed posts or signing brand deal contracts or making your next YouTube video. Like really force yourself and prioritizing only working on tasks that have the highest ROI on getting you closer to your goals. I feel like we waste so much time as creators over planning our content, over planning our weeks, instead of actually doing what we need to do. Which this brings me to my next point, which is my very simple content planning structure. You've probably heard me talk about this a million times if you've watched this show before. The last episode I did was all about like content planning, but things that have really helped me get it together in terms of content planning is being really efficient and picking a weekly theme every single week that goes across all my social media platforms. This week obviously would be habits and how I get my shit together. So this theme will go across my Instagram, my TikTok, Busy Blue Bangs Instagram. That helps me just feel so organized, have it together. I also squeeze as much out of one idea as I can every single time. If I'm posting this YouTube video or a vlog voicing over about this, I will put that into a carousel, probably a couple carousels, a text on screen video, a trend video, like really trying to get as much content out, because that helps you just feel so organized and so much together, because you're spending so much less time on the planning, the thinking of fresh ideas. I also force myself to plan for an hour a week, which is part of our Short Form Summer Rebrand Challenge. Even if I don't feel like it, I just force myself to do it. Like, okay, I'm gonna set a timer for 1 hour, plan out my content. I'm gonna just throw ideas in my calendars, even if I hate the ideas, just so I have something. And again, it's a structure that I will change if I don't like the idea, or I'll see how I'm feeling if I want to do something fresh, but it's just something in there to do. I time block everything every day. When I start my day, I force myself the night before or even the morning of to do my calendar. Everything is a meeting, even as simple as like planning the notes for the episode, obviously recording the episode, creating my Instagram carousel, posting my Instagram carousel. Like everything has a spot, so I have my to-do list and there's actually an assigned time to do everything. That helps me feel very organized. But with your content planning, similar to the last point, just don't spend time on stupid things. I do have like a pretty robust content planning routine that I said a couple weeks ago, but every time you go to sit down to do something with content, like check yourself, be like, okay, is this giving CEO energy? Am I wasting my time here? Is there something else I could be doing with this time that would get me closer where I want to go? And am I just doing this because it's like kind of fun? Like, should I actually be doing something different? Again, like being your own boss. We all say we want to be our own boss, but then we treat ourselves like an employee. Okay, this brings me to my next point, which is treating everything that you do on social media in your business in seasons and in projects, which is something I don't talk about very often. But I say this all the time. I treat my content in seasons. I love it. We're in the summer season right now. Every season I have a new brand, a new strategy, new content pillars, new templates, like new everything. And I really set out at every quarter, every season, like spring, summer, fall, winter, to think about, okay, what are like the big projects I'm doing right now? And then every week I work on those projects. So I'm like, okay, and the project at Busy Blue HQ, what am I doing this week? On this podcast, I have the project of this episode with this sponsor. But I really do like viewing things in seasons and projects, because in the world of social entrepreneurship, there's endless opportunity of what we can do. So being strategically minimal on like what you're working on in this season, it also gives you just opportunity to know like, okay, maybe I'm not super prioritizing my TikTok right now, but that's for the fall. I'll have that as a project for the fall. Maybe I'll really start working on reaching out to brands in the fall. That's a new project. So you kind of have a parking lot for yourself of things you're going to work on later. This really helps you have it together and feel more organized, because you're focused on certain projects in certain seasons. And then every season you can like refresh, have a new brand, new pillars, new taglines, new bio. You're always keeping things fresh and fluid with yourself, which is like the best feeling to have it together. And then of course, you're in that CEO mind of like owning where you're at and owning these projects, owning the season you're in. Speaking of all this, another habit that has helped me so much is always having the direction I'm going in and my brand at the forefront of my day to day. This is one of the biggest reasons I have found for myself and people I've worked with that you feel lost or random, or you can't be consistent is because you don't clearly have in your head all the time where you want to go, what you want to be known for, or what you have set out of your goals and your brand and everything is like super out of alignment, and you're actually have outgrown it, you've evolved out of it, maybe you're trying to replicate somebody else, and it's just not you. It's not authentic to what you actually want to do. So a habit that I do is every single morning I have founder hour, which is another one. I talked about this on Instagram last week. I love having an hour in the morning, usually from like 7:30 to 8:30 with my coffee, sitting right here at this desk if you're watching. I have a meeting with myself. It is the best thing ever. People might think it's crazy, but that's okay. This is a safe space, and we do founder hour here over at Busy Blooming, where I have an hour alone, or even like 30 minutes, depending on how busy you are, because I know if you have a 9 to 5, an hour might be like a little unrealistic, but I have an hour with myself to really look at like a 10,000 foot view on our social media, on our business, of like, what are we actually doing here? What are we doing? What are we working towards? What are our big North Star goals? What is my vision board on Pinterest? I'm going to scroll through those to get some motivation inspo for the day. My short form summer rebrand Canva slide deck right now, I'm going to look through, make sure that like feels good. Look through my content. How am I feeling about it? Am I proud of it? Does anything I'd change? Like, just check in, like Busy Blooming HQ, what are we working towards at Busy Blooming as a whole business? To really have a moment to work on the business, not like be in the day-to-day. This helps me so much. This is a habit that has changed everything for me because I'm always so focused and in alignment. And I change things all the time. And this is actually really good to do because, for example, if you were finding that like, okay, it's really hard to post on Instagram, or maybe you did short form summer rebrand, you're like, I'm not loving my brand. I'm finding it really hard to like post or think of ideas. I had that experience last week, which I'm going to talk about in after hours. If things are feeling really difficult or a lot of like rigidity or a lot of resistance, you need to take that seriously because there might be something deeper going on of your brand is not actually you. It's not what you actually want to do, or you want to start fresh, or you want to try a new pillar or pivot or change your bio or change your template. Again, these are not bad things to change. It's good. And I had that experience last week. I was like, okay, I'm having such a hard time like posting on Instagram. Like, why is this so hard? And I realized when I took a look at my brand, I'm like, I think I need to rebrand my rebrand a little bit and like pivot it so it's more me. I have no talking videos, and I feel like that's just not like what I want to do. But the reason I even like noticed that is because I'm always grounding myself in my brand, my mission, our why, our goals, our direction. So nothing ever feels like random. Everything you post, everything you do in your business, every meeting you have, it's working towards this cohesive big goal, this big direction, this big destination that you're trying to get to. So having a founder hour in the morning and even like a Sunday night planning to look at your goals, your business, everything, it helps you so much in the day-to-day, just like feel like you have it more together. And this brings me to my last point, which I also talked about on Instagram last week, and I say this all the time, but just to wrap up the episode, deleting my social media on Fridays. You already know if you listen to the show. The passion I have for deleting my social media on Fridays, you have no idea. Around like 7 p.m. when I'm done work on a Friday, I delete my social media and I re-download it on a Monday morning. It is the best habit. I've done this for years. Sometimes if I'm like in a grind hustle season, I'll work through the weekends occasionally, but most of the time I delete my TikTok, my Instagram, my YouTube Studio, my Spotify Creator Studio, like everything to wipe it. I don't have TikTok drafts, so that definitely allows me to do this. But I'm telling you, it is the best thing ever to have scroll-free weekends. If you work a 9 to 5 job, this like might not work for you, so pick like 2 other days. But that's part of the rules. A short form summer rebrand is having 2 days off social. It is the best thing ever. I love having my weekends scroll-free because our brains just need a break. Because even if you're just scrolling on social media for fun, you are like standing on business. It's not clocking to you that you're standing on business when you're scrolling on social media. Because even if you're watching just somebody like for fun post a vlog or whatever it is, you are like thinking about, okay, that was an interesting hook, or I like her editing, or maybe I should do that, or like you're just like taking information in about what that person is doing because this is what you're doing. It's like watching someone at your job all weekend. Even if it's fun, it still is something you're processing and analyzing and thinking about. And also just like at a brain health, mental health thing, it's so good to get a break from the constant overstimulation that social media. It's like so detrimental to our brain health. It drains us. We don't even realize it. And it's so good to get a break for 48 hours because then at the end of the weekend, like on Monday morning, I'm actually excited to like go on social media and scroll on social media. And I haven't doom scrolled at all on the weekend. I'm excited to see like, okay, let's see what's going on Instagram, on TikTok, everything. I'm excited to create. I also find my content is just better. It's more unique. It's more me. I'm just more creative because you have creative space to like actually think about things. That's not just like consuming. And that is my last point. So I hope this episode was helpful. There are so many habits that I've done and mindsets I've done. And like, I feel like I've had to reprogram my mind a million times over the years of doing all this. Now let's get into after hours. Let me know if you have any thoughts below, any habits that you've done that have totally changed your life that you could share with the office in the comments. I'd love to hear. And now let's get into after hours, where we're going to unpack Short Form Summer Rebrand, a check-in, and just like catch up. So let's get into it. Okay, welcome to after hours. It's our after work social. Work is done. I had so much fun in our meeting today, but I hope it was helpful and I hope you were doing well. If you're watching this in real time, it is, I think, we've officially finished 3 weeks of Short Form Summer Rebrand. So if you're new here, we all at the office over here have been rebranding our Instagram, our TikToks, lots of us for YouTube as well for the summer. And we've all made new slide decks, new brand decks, new taglines, bios, content templates, schedules, everything. And that's a big reason I wanted to do this episode today, to help you, because in Busy Blooming HQ, we have a Short Form Summer Rebrand chat and a content therapy chat. And I know it's been like a hard first few weeks for a lot of people, which is why I want to share a lot in today's episode about like being in control, CEO mindset, having a structure that's fluid. But I wanted to share something that I think could help you feel better if you're really struggling with like posting a lot and your rebrand and everything, is that I actually had a moment last week. So in the second week of Short Form Summer Rebrand, I think it was like day 5, I was having such a hard time posting on Instagram, and I shared my brand that I made a couple of weeks ago. I made a brand that was like very much about being an inspo board for content creation and talking about content creation, having different templates and, you know, having carousels and different things of like content ideas, whatever. So I was having such a hard time posting. I'm like, why is this so hard to post? Like, why am I having such a hard time like making these carousels, getting B-roll, like all this stuff? And I thought, you know what? This is a sign that my brand is not me enough. It's not like authentic enough. So I went into my brand deck and I did a bit of a rebrand of my rebrand, which is normal. It's a good thing. It shows like you're evolving, you're getting closer to where you were supposed to be. And if you are feeling the same way, I'm right there with you. Like, this is what the summer is all about. It's about pivoting and trying and testing. And one thing I noticed is I didn't have any talking videos in my brand, which is something I wanted to try just because I have the podcast, which in hindsight, I'm like, why did I do that? Because I find talking on camera is the easiest content for me to make. Just sit down and talk without a script. And so that is one thing I added in, is I've added in like a new content template of talking to camera videos. I've also decided to like switch my brand a little bit. So it's not so much of being like an inspo board for creators, but more of my personal like human journey, experience, habits, things like that. Because I was also noticing, this is like a content therapy session for me, but I feel like you might relate to this, is I started to feel like a lot of the content I was posting on my personal Instagram, like this should probably go on Busy Blooming's Instagram. It makes no sense to put it on mine, especially like content ideas and things like that. So that was something I changed as well, as I removed some pillars, just like kept them on Busy Blooming. I actually had the thought last night that I wrote down on my phone that I thought might be helpful for your rebrand this summer, is trying to think of your Instagram or your TikTok is a personal Pinterest board of your mind in your life. I feel like that's such an interesting perspective to have, is like trying to think of your social media as that, of like your hot takes, your opinions, your taglines, your sense of humor. Like, think of your social media as a personal Pinterest board of your mind, hot takes, opinions in life that clearly has like themes to it. But I wanted to say, Short Form Rebrand, it's a safe space. Like, it's supposed to be fun and exciting. And again, you're the CEO, you're in control. Short Form Summer Rebrand is not about creating this like perfect, rigid schedule. It's about creating your structure, a flow routine that works for you, that you change, you control, figure out your brand, pivoting, rebranding, testing, trying. So when you enter the fall, enter Q4, you're like all ready to go, you're organized, you have figured all the mess out, and you also embrace the mess, enjoy the journey, all of that this summer. So it's not about being perfect and making no mistakes. You can't make mistakes. Like, you're the boss, you're the CEO. You tell yourself what to do. So in After Hours today, I wanted to come to you as a fellow creator of like things that I have changed, I've tweaked, I'm changed up my brand. I've also posted things that I've been doing well, but I don't personally like love. But it's only been a couple of weeks. We have 9 full weeks of doing this. We're like a third of the way through. We have like so much time to do everything. Also, Busy Blooming HQ has been so much fun. If you're in Busy Blooming HQ, like you just get it. We're so bonded for life as coworkers in there. We have a short form summer rebrand chat, like I said. We have a content therapy chat. We recently did an office renovation to add more elements to Busy Blooming HQ. We have a strategy and brand chat, content creation lab where we talk about filming, editing, all that. I drop content ideas every single Monday. I go live every Friday for like a Q&A, work social, and then I drop like one or two things in between. Last week I dropped carousel templates for Instagram, a tutorial on Instagram carousels. It's so much fun. I keep forgetting to say this. It is $25 a month. I don't think I've said that anywhere. It's $25 US every single month. You get access to all the chats, the content clinics, and then of course all the live events, Monday drops, like everything like that. So definitely go check it out. I have a website page on busyblooming.ca/HQ that goes through everything, but it's just been so much fun. Our office of content. It just feels, I even found the other day, I had a weird feature on my Instagram and I'm like, I'm going to drop this in HQ because I'm so curious if other people have this. So it's just been so much fun to have coworkers and go to work together. We had a live a couple of weeks ago where I went live and I shared like my YouTube analytics. I showed my click-through rate, my watch time. Like it was just so fun. We're having so much fun over there. So if you want to join, go check out Busy Blooming HQ. And I think that's it for today's episode. So thanks for coming to work with me together today. Thank you so much to Rella for sponsoring today's episode. I am freaking out that Rella is sponsoring the episode. Their AI, Ella, is genius. I've never seen anything like that. Go check out Rella. It's not just AI. They have so many amazing features. It's like a must-have tool for creators. I've used it forever. I love it. So I hope you're all doing well and I'll see you next week. I'm so excited for next week's episode. So I'll see you next week and thanks for watching. Bye.